Chapter 14 of The Adopting of Rosa Marie by Carroll Rankin. This Librivox Recording is in the public domain. A Birthday Party. But if Mabel derived little joy from her experience as a heroine, there was at least some satisfaction in knowing that there could be no school on Monday, for Mabel was decidedly partial toward holidays. "If I ever teach school," she often said, "there'll be 2 Saturdays every week and no afternoon sessions." Jean, however, really liked to go to school. So did Marjorie, but Betty was uncertain. "If," said Betty, "I could go long enough to know what grade I belonged in, it might be interesting, but when you only attend in patches, it's sort of mixing. There's a little piece of me in 3 different grades." When Mrs. Crane realized there could be no school on Monday, she, too, was pleased. She stopped a moment after church on Sunday to intercept the girls on their way to Sunday school. "My," she said, "how spruce you look." They did look spruce. Tall Jean was all in brown, even to her gloves and overshoes. Marjorie's trim little winter suit was of dark green broadcloth with gray furs, for neat Auntie Jane, whatever her other failings, always kept Marjorie very beautifully dressed. Betty's short, kilted skirt was red under a boyish black reefer that had once belonged to Dick, and a black hat that Bob had discarded as too floppy had been wired and trimmed with scarlet cloth to match the skirt. This hand-me-down outfit was very becoming to dark-eyed Betty, but then Betty was pretty in anything. Plump Mabel was buttoned tightly into a navy blue suit. Although she had owned it for barely 6 weeks, it was no longer big enough either lengthwise or sidewise. "But," said Mabel cheerfully, "by holding my breath most of the time, I can stand it for 1 hour on Sundays." "How would you like," asked Mrs. Crane, "to spend tomorrow with me and Rosa Marie?" "We'd love to," said Jean. "We'd like it a lot," said Marjorie. "Just awfully," breathed Betty. "Oh, goody!" gurgled Mabel. "You see," said Mrs. Crane, "I'm not altogether easy about Rosa Marie. I do every living thing I can think of, but some way I can't get inside that child's shell. I declare it seems sometimes as if she really pities me for being so stupid. And I think she's falling off in her looks." "Oh, I hope not!" cried Mabel fervently. "No," agreed Marjorie, it certainly wouldn't do for Rosa Marie to fall off very much." "However," returned Mrs. Crane loyally, "she might be very much worse, and at any rate, she is warm and well fed, even if she does seem a bit foreign. So that janitor put you down through the dust chute, did he, Mabel? You must have landed with quite a jolt." "No," returned Mabel rather sulkily, for everyone was mentioning the dust chute. "I had all September's and October's sweepings to land on. It was all mushy and springy like mother's bed." "How," pursued kindly Mrs. Crane, "did he get you out?" I'd rather not say," mumbled Mabel, flushing a brilliant crimson. No one else had thought to ask this dreaded question, and the papers, fortunately, had overlooked this detail. "Why," giggled teasing Marjorie, "he must have dragged her out by the feet because she's so fat that she couldn't possibly have turned herself over in that narrow space. It's just like a chimney, you know. I've often looked down that place and wondered if Santa Claus can manage the trip down. Oh, Mabel, it must have been funny. Tell us about it." Mabel grinned, but it was rather a sickly grin. "First," she said, "he clawed out a lot of paper and stuff. Ugh, it was horrid to feel everything sliding out right from under me. I don't know how far I was going to drop. Then he grabbed my 2 ankles and just jerked me out on the bias through that little door at the bottom. I suppose it was a lot quicker, but he didn't need to make me climb all that coal." "Yes, he did," returned Jean. "The cornice on the other 3 sides was all loose and flopping up and down in the flames. Pieces kept falling. The coal bin side was the last to burn, the wind went the other way, and Miss Bonner's room was the last to catch fire." "That janitor," declared Mrs. Crane with conviction, "knew exactly what he was about. Now, girls, you will be sure to come tomorrow, won't you? I think it will do Rosa Marie good, and there's a reason why I'd like a little company myself, but I shan't tell you just now what it is." "Oh, do," begged all 4. "No," returned Mrs. Crane, "it's a secret, and not a living soul knows it but me. I'll tell you tomorrow." "We'll surely come," promised the girls. Of course they kept their promise. The 4 cottagers arrived very soon after breakfast, were let in most sedately by Mr. Black's man, who smiled when the unceremonious visitors rushed pell-mell past him to fall upon Mrs. Crane, who was watering plants in the breakfast room. "Tell us the secret," shouted Mabel. "Oh, I mean good morning." "Good morning," smiled Mrs. Crane, setting the watering pot in a safe place. "The secret isn't a very big one. It's only that today is my birthday, and I thought I'd like to have a party. You're it. The cook is making me a birthday cake, but she doesn't know that it is a birthday cake." "Goody!" cried Mabel. Doesn't Mr. Black know it's your birthday? Queried Jean. I don't think so. You see, it's a long time since Peter and I spent birthdays under the same roof, and men don't remember such things very well. We'll surprise him with a cake tonight. Now let's go to the nursery. Rosa Marie's dull countenance lighted up at the sight of her 4 friends. She gave 4 solemn little bobs with her head. Mercy, cried Marjorie, she's learning manners. And see, said Betty, she's stringing beads. That's a surprise, said Mrs. Crane proudly. I taught her that. 14, said Rosa Marie unexpectedly. Goodness me, cried Mabel, can she count? Yes, admitted Mrs. Crane guardedly, but not to depend on. In fact, 14 is the only counting word she can say. Peter taught her that. 14, repeated Rosa Marie, holding up her string of beads. You ridiculous baby, laughed Mabel, hugging her. Who are the pretty beads for? Rosa Marie hurriedly clapped the string around her own brown throat. No, no, remonstrated Mrs. Crane, you're making them for Mabel. But Rosa Marie set her small white teeth firmly together and continued to hold the beads against her own plump neck. She knows whose beads they are, laughed Jean. I can't teach her a single Christian virtue, sighed Mrs. Crane. There isn't one unselfish hair in that child's head. She's too young, encouraged Betty. All babies are little savages. Not Anne Halliday, said Jean, who fairly worshipped her small cousin. That's different, said Marjorie. Anne was born with manners. The little Tuckers weren't, soothed Betty. Rosa Marie will be generous enough in time. I wish I could believe it, sighed Mrs. Crane. Hi, hi, what's all this racket? Cried Mr. Black from the doorway. Is Rosa Marie doing all that talking? Get your things on quick, all of you, and come for a ride with me. A ride? Exclaimed Mrs. Crane. What in? An automobile, returned Mr. Black, turning to wink comically at Betty. An automobile, echoed Mrs. Crane. I'd like to know whose. There's only one in town, and I don't even know the owners. Yours, twinkled Mr. Black. It's your birthday present. How did you know that this was the day? Perhaps I remembered, said Mr. Black, smiling rather tenderly at his old sister. You used to have them on this day. I do still, beamed Mrs. Crane. That's why I invited the girls. They're my birthday party. But what's this about automobiles? Only one. It's yours. Peter Black, I don't believe you. Look out the hall window. Everybody rushed to the big window in the front hall. Sure enough, a splendid motor car stood at the gate. Peter, faltered Mrs. Crane, have I got to ride in that? I've never set foot in one, and I'm sure I'd be scared to at this late day. What? Not ride in your own automobile? Bless you, Sarah, in another week you'll refuse to stay out of it. Get your things on, everybody, and warm ones, too. Find extra wraps for these girls, Sarah. There's room for everybody but Rosa Marie. Now, isn't that just like a man, said Mrs. Crane, looking about helplessly. Whose clothes does he think you're going to wear for extra wraps? His or mine? Everybody laughed, for obviously Mr. Black's house was a poor one in which to find little girls' garments. We'll stop at your house, said he, and pick up some duds. Besides, perhaps your mothers might like to know that you've been kidnapped. What? No hat on yet? Here, pin this on, said Mr. Black, handing Mrs. Crane a pink dust cap. I can't wait all day. Mercy, that's not a bonnet, cried Mrs. Crane, scurrying away. I'll be ready in 2 minutes. End of A Birthday Party.